Onks täällä satamalla mitään tai vesistön lähellä? Ja sieltä katsotaan mitään näin.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Poor little viewer, Paddy. No, damn now.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Look inside.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onak, written on the other side, with N and C scribbled.
Elikkä Kuuno. Käytetty huomassa tämänkin.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast, studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts. Lanky, weather-worn wooden planks. An X-shaped cross topping its tower. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
Vandalism, shake your head.
Probably some kids.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside.
Centimes.
Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary.
Okay, laitetaan se harhaan.
Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry. Different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay.
Right.
In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Mä voin sanoa, että hang in there, little one.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
Sillä on niin huono näkö muutenkin, eikö se ollut vähän... Todettiin siinä ampumishommassa. Otapa vielä.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Conceptualization impossible. Why am I looking at this wall? Pitäisikö kokeilla? 3%.
You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Montanese. Weather-worn, cracked. They're paint peeling.
Tässä seinässä jotain vai? Erikoista. Magneesiumia aika paljon löytynyt. Täällä on nyt tää kunoessa.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Wow. Ei nyt ihan.
He's come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out.
No, why would you even say that?
Then why are you sneaking up on me like that? It's not a good idea to scare me, pig. Not a good idea at all. Trying to sneak up on me again? Trying to snuff me out? Get away,
Kylläpä jos
pig.
muuta sanottavaa kuin haukkua vaan päälle. The garden hose, this won't be of use until the snow melts. Onko sorti ovi?
There must be another way into the building.
Balcony with the view to the yard and the hanging. Kun pääkopassa sanoo, that smoker up there could be witness, talk to him.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Miksi kuiskaat? No trouble from me, I just want to know what's been going on here.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare.
Jaa, mäkin voin kysyä tupakkaa. Hold on, can I at least have a cigar? Pitäisikö kysyä?
Apologies, but this is my last one.
The god himself has denied you absolution.
Okay, tää oli hyvä. I need absolution. Can you just like toss that one down?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Shut up and throw, kid. You're right, that was obviously a bad idea.
As you wish.
Okay. Actually, the gendarmerie really needs to talk to you.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Okay. Nimesi?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Oikeasti?
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
Okay. Looks like you've got a good view of the Verling's backyard. Can you tell me anything about the hanging?
I can tell that you finally got him down. Thank you. It was quite a disturbing sight, even by Martinez standards.
What were you doing last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Hetkinen. Ei me kyllä kysytty. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
No, not you. Some more muscular type.
Hmm?
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
Varmaan kuin ihan eri henkilö, jos kerran last weekina mainittaa.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over. He was my Sunday friend.
Sunnuntai-ystävä.
A Sunday friend. How intriguing. Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking.
Autoriteettipuoli aivan se kyllä on siinä mielessä oikeassa. Sunnuntaina on varmaan mukavimmat kaverit vai?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. In the neighboring windows, you can see faint reflections of his silhouette, all from different angles. Someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying on you through.
Okay. Puhutaan myöhemmin.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
-1 bumming a cigar. Mä voin yrittää vielä, että kääntää sen pää.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains.
Hey, listen, lower your voice. I am just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else?
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes. Compassion and a hint of understanding. There's snow gathering on his hair and on his shoulders. A speckle of white against the purple that hangs loose on his slender frame.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
But, hold on. What's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door.
Okay.
It's a sign.
Towards a stone placed right next to the front door. Kiveä.
Good luck with the investigation.
Okay.
He's gone.
We should run after him, see where he went.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
So we just give up.
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there. If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Yes. Tosiaan sitä kivihommaa yritti osoittaa tuossa vieressä.
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it.
Käännetään.
There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
Asuntoa vai?
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments and the man can be in any of them.
Okei, mistä me löydetään oikein?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Okei, me saatiin tuonne avaimet. Vähän katsoa vähän ympärillä ennen kuin mennään. Yeah.
The spread pattern of these bullet holes makes your chest ache. Your breath grows heavier. You peer into the faded marks in the stone. They peer back like an endless row of tiny black holes. Sweat starts trickling down your brow.
This is bad mojo, man! Fucking horrible mojo! The end draws now!
Your chest feels tight looking at them. It's closing in, caving in, ever tighter. Your breathing grows even heavier.
You okay there?
Man, I started feeling really bad for a second.
Might be the after effects of your past escapades. What are you looking at?
These bullet holes look like the bullet holes we saw before.
Bullet holes generally look the same, so probably. But you're right. More old bullet holes from the revolution. Plenty.
Okay. Orange bum hat. The smoker on the balcony. Reaction speed kasvaa, mutta retoriikki putoaa. Niin no, mä nyt tiedän. No, joissakin tuossa reaktiolla on varmaan hyötyä, kun tulee mieleen tässä pelissä varsinkin. Okay. Just a closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. These barrels are half full of rainwater. Pitäisikö mä ottaa vähän enkkuja ja sitten moraaliboostaa ja ihan varalta. Niin, käydäänkö me sisään? Low on health, but points into endurance. Okay. Eviction notices and missing pets are plastered on the top of each other. Flip up glasses. +1 logiikkaa, balancing the books, but -1 authority. Filthy boho, probably a narcomaniac. Eli logiikka-haasteessa tää voisi olla kätsy, mutta sitten tää auktoriteetti putoaa. This box is filled with cleaning chemicals, smells of laundry detergent. An old shoe rack, boots, sneaker and old slippers. Carpet 12, loud rumbling snore comes from within. The snoring is scary somehow, you should leave. Someone has drawn a 5-pointed star on the wall.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of
mä voisin päästä sisään.
Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Tool not in hand, -10. Koputetaan.
No reply.
Okei. Tässä voisi olla ihan chanssit kohdilla. Pitäisikö mun laittaa vielä se taskulamppu toiseen?
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, "What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working."
Heal yourself now.
I believe it's the shackle you need to cut, detective.
Okay.
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad. Relax.
The chain cutters are broken, Kim.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
Okay.
What are
Toisen kerran feilas.
You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
Laitoin.
I believe it's the shackle you need to cut, detective.
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad. Relax.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
No nyt ei pysty toista kertaa vetää sitä auki. Mä feilasin 2 kertaa.
This door has been closed.
Fuck. Yritin ainakin pari kertaa, Kim.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
Itse mä nyt mietin, kun mulla meni niin paljon sitä magnesiumiakin sitä. Hetkinen. Tää on loadannut. Tää on helvetin kaukana, mulla on vielä tallennuskin. Mä ehkä tallennan varalta tänne. Mä mietin, että olisiko voinut loadata ehkä, mutta kokeillaan nyt ilman.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side.
Okay.
Who is this?
This is the police.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
Okay. Postcard Boogie Street 46. Their mailbox is overflowing. Firing squad for the rich. Pitääkö ne ovi? Lukossa vai? Jep. Foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates. Okei, seinä rävitty. Pystyisikään tämmöisessä hengaamaan periaatteessa niinkö yöpymään mukamassa laittomasti. Tuossa toki ikkunan rikki, mutta tuli vaan mieleen, että tässä pelissä olisi niitä vaihtoehtoja paljon.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to -20 degrees Celsius.
Plan.
Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down.
Her face
is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression.
Look around.
It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a 3-legged stool in the middle of the room.
Tietenkin häppää taitopisteitäkin voisi alkaa joihinkin juttuihin laittaa, että sais niinkö settejä ja juttuja auki, mutta kun mietin juurikin, että mihin se kannattaa satsata. endurance, take the blows, don't let the world kill you. Damage -4. Balcony. Katso. Okei, mulla täällä korkeammalla paskalla vai? Puff tarp slap in the wind, forgotten hamster nails rust. Onko tällä?
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
I am the law.
And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge authority in other ways. That smell coming from her paint bucket, it's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil.
Is that heavy fuel oil?
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
She really did it. She's proud of it too.
That's some clever cultural commentary.
You ain't seen nothing yet, piggy boo.
She turns her head to face the coast and nods disdainfully toward Joyce, performing maintenance on her boat. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her. On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world.
Mikä on ozonu?
It's where they grow whores like her, and they're whoremen.
Okay.
Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
She wants it to be something true and total.
Okay, miksi sä haluat sotkia tämän rakennuksen?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
Okay.
Yeah?
I thought, I love public art. I'm gonna have to stop you, this is hooliganism. Laitetaan bapplikarttiin vaan. Jos vetää saada se puolelle milloin.
I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
Okay. Do you know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
Kim on oikeassa.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
No, Cindykin on yksi vittu pätevä.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Okei. Pitäisikö mun katsoa toi sininen ovi? Okay, sleep after 21:00. Sleeping heals all your health and morale. Molemmat on saanut vähän kyllä hittiä kieltämättä. I must been sleeping here recently. I've called to last for several winters, smells of chemicals. Onko tää sitten missä Cindy viettää aikaa vai? Varkkumana. Electrochemistry god-ass. Reaction speed hindsight. Although these jeans look worn, they very must have had an ass given to them by mighty Lord himself. Okay. The reaction speed putoaa sitten, jos mä mennään laittaa. Tässä aletaan. Rahaa. Löytyykö vielä jotain? Joo, mä oletan, että tosiaan Cindy nukkuu täällä, mutta tosiaan ei sillä kauheasti ollut joitakin juttuja siellä täällä. Pitää katsoa, että voiko sitä kysyä tuosta asiasta. Onko tää se mesta?
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire
bed in
my
call
mural?
room yours?
Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
Don't you have a real home?
Does anyone in a city like this?
If there's pain about any particular home she's lost, she's buried it deep, fortified herself against it.
That's the nicest place, but I guess it'll have to do.
Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens. It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all.
Selvä.
Shoot, piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Catch you later. Enempää me varmaan saa tosta irti. No niin, taas täällä. Otetaanko se vieläkään kokeilla tuota uudelleen?
You hear someone
Eikö se ei
walking
ole tää
up.
ovi? Onks tää?
This door has been
Se
closed.
on toistaiseksi vielä, ettei saa enempää kokeilla.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of communism, in other words. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mezov and the communards during the revolution. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment and fear in equal measure.
Entä miksi se on ylösalais?
to symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it. The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
Entä sitten valkoinen väri?
Because white is the color of peace. Nothing at all yet. Right now, it's just meaningless shapes on a wall.
Tommonen aivojen observaatio vaan. Mentiin ohi. The shower curtains are covered in some sort of slime. Varmaan homehtunut. Päästäänkö me tästä niinkö? Tästä ovestahan ei voi päästä. Tällekään me ei voida tehdä mitään.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk drawn
Harmi, ettei me päästä tuosta niinku sisään suoraan. 2 kertaa feilattiin se skill check.
You hear someone walking around.
Ehkä me palataan sitten myöhemmin tänne. Noin, työkaluista. Auttakaa muuten sorkkarat. Tuli mieleen.
This door has been closed.
Sitten poistumme täältä. Most people settle for bed after 21:00 or not long after. At night the streets are empty. By 02 everyone's asleep. Okei, ehkä aamuyö 2 niin sanoo, että kaikki nukkuu. Signal Blue Naval Coat. Ehdotus +1, Half-Light -1. Sorti ovi. Siis hetkinen, onko tää nyt ovi tuohon samaan mestaan vai? Jos on, niin pitää poistua sitten saman tien. Joo, kyllä se tähän samaan paikkaan tuo. No niin, tutkitaan lisää. Joycelle jutella. No safe.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with at this late hour?
It's night, don't you ever sleep?
Matter of fact, I don't.
Miksi?
I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. I'm old, you see.
Okay.
Of course. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. Käypä läpi juttuja.
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Varakas.
A billion?
What exactly is billion?
It's a number, officer. A big one. It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Whoa.
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments.
Okei, 72 000 työntekijää, niin sitten kun sä alat jakkaa niitä miljoonia plus sitten muut kulut.
A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Where does Wild Pines get all those billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
Okei. Käypäs läpi numero 2.
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% kaikista maailman seteistä.
There are no minor cogs in the system.
Mikä se tuli?
Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Okei, mä hetkeksi klikkaan tuolta. Mä haluan nähdä mikä se oli, mikä tuli tuosta äskeisestä. 5 tuntia 55 minuuttia. Wild Pines, Feld, Cupriest, Tri-Essential Village, Cells, Names of Responsibility Tribes. Then why do you build like there was the 15th Indo tribe? Siinä ei tule mitään miinuksia ainakaan heti alkuun tai vastaavaa. Tässä kun on lokautettu. Käyttää 1 skill-pointti ainakin. Vähän kiinnostaa, että mihin tää johtaa. Internalize. No nyt se on työ alla. Kuitenkin pitkä aika se oppii. Mitä se on. Okei, eli sitten quick save ja jatkaa Joycein kaittelu.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Okay.
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Elements that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
How do I repeal it then? An octopus, I will slay it.
Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
Kysytäs.
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Aha.
What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now.
Semmonen.
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
Yli 2-metrinen
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Mitäs tälle sitten Gaumontille kävi?
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Okei, mä en tuota lausetta kyllä odottanut hältä ollenkaan.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
No, mitäs ne vaatii?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
I don't know what to think about that.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
Se menee kyllä vaikeaksi.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Workers can't be king. The king is king. The king is dead. Long live the workers. That's pretty funny, I have to admit.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
Hyvä pointti, Kim.
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs at the gate, did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
No, sitten kerropas mennä union bossilta.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Okay. Niin paha.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Pidetään mielessä.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Jaa. Gently sucking clarified Parvekkeella. Effective celebrates with rights of local working men. Basically socialist mob. Mä en sano vaan, että ei ole mielipidettä.
Of course, officer.
Yrität olla jonkin asteen neutraali.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Oh, vähän outoa.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with them.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help?
Kysytäänpäs lynchingistä.
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Nimet ja lätkänumerot, jaa.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
No.
Awkwardness washes over the conversation.
Remember when my partner told
The
you
woman
I've
doesn't
recently
like
suffered from an
disturbance.
unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Mahdollisesti.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Okay.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Pitäisikö kokeilla? +1 sympathy for your amnesia. Kokeilla.
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Kuten.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge.
Okay.
Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Tulee yhteistyöhaluseksi.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Okay. Mitäs Kim haluaa sanoa?
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
Jaa.
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, you know, not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Oh, so we're henchmen now.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
We could just, you know, find my badge. I'm sorry for putting us in this situation, so I'll handle it. Älä tuo.
I'm sure you will, detective.
Sitten laitetaan tuo, että yritetään löytää se badgekin vielä.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
Entäs tuo, että jätetäänkö me vaan tutkimatta homman muuta?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Okei, eli me tutkitaan, tavallaan kysellään, mutta ei jaeta sitten sen enempää, mitä me löydetäänkään tuloksia. Tehdään niin.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okei, kysytäänpäs lisää.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Shit, yeah, baby. It's the party pipeline. Why would you want to shut that down?
Kysytäänpäs. Are you trying to shut down the party pipeline?
I assure you, officer, these are not the sort of parties you'd want to attend.
She has no idea what kind of parties you've been to.
Okay.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
Okay.
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
Am I going to need bolt cutters for this? What do you mean?
The lorries. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Haastatella rekkakuskeja vai?
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
You'll be indebted to her, in a way. But one step ahead of the Union in another.
No miksi sä et tullut poliisille aikaisemmin?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
Näinpä.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Tract and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in on my motor carriage.
Mä ajattelin, että kimauttelit sitä toista hommaa, mutta hei. Tuo oli ton
I am
juttu.
sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
Käy järkeä.
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, but she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
Okay. Let's discuss something else for now vielä.
She simply nods.
You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in.
This reality?
It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy, now that I think of it.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be
Let's
here a while
update
then.
get reality lowdown.
Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Okay. 58%. Where are we?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Baby.
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
Okay. And the Martinez.
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Kysytäänpä lisää.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
No, puhutaan merestä.
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Insulindic.
Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks of the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Okay, jatketaan sulla.
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city. The great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
Okay, who built this city?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Semenine and Il Marat, depending on your creed. In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago,
380 vuotta sitten. Pitkä aika.
they say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people. In the middle of the Insulindic Ocean. The world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Kysytään, where are we?
We are where we are. I have no true answer to give, unfortunately.
Okay.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
But won't I be lazy if I don't do it all now? Pitäisikö noin laittaa ositella?
Oh, of course not. You are already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
You've got a predatory streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle. Okay.
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
Ouch.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Noin. Truly kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
I had a deluge too in my head.
Yes, an acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated by alcoholism. Exacerbated means made worse.
Thiaminipuute.
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Hyvät vaihtoehdot. Smart king, cowardly king. I love that king. Fucking communists. Smart king.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Ketkä sai mineraalioikeudet?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember? To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Eikös liberaalit ottanut kaikki?
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground.
Okay.
The ocean, the laws, and the people. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
Yeah. I don't think I'm a moralist, ma'am.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
No, sitten sitä kerfavollista.
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in 2002 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
Okay. Mitä se sitten teki?
It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark. From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in 2008, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie, a pair of pants.
Okay.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think. A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the coalition of nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook, presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The Zone of Control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the Suzerain and the Commune. Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade. 43 years. Hard to fathom, I know.
Okay.
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
Hyvin historiat ja tapahtumat ympärillä.
The 30s, things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. No, it was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the Zone of Control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
You don't seem to be thrilled.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova, this raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just... we could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we played it right.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I ask you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing.
Okay. I would have killed more, made off with the mineral rights. That's a medical solution.
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago?
Hyvä kysymys. Ehkä yli kokeilla. Mitä se sanoo tähän?
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet.
There is peace in the heart.
Huh?
Good hygiene.
There's peace in heart.
Really?
Mikä toi oli?
A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad. When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCA.
Niin, ei tietenkään.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years
old. Wow.
That's my position.
Okei.
The abattoir.
Kim on käynyt vissiin aika rajuja läpi.
Understandable.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
What's this acute?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
Vitamiini B-puutos aivoissa.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective.
Mikä sen aiheuttaa?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
Todennäköisesti varmaan meidän tapauksessa alkoholi.
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat.
Yes! And perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie! Yes. Out in the open somewhere!
I have somewhere to party right now. Wipe that urge from your mind and get back to reality.
She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
I want to know what you are.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
Aha.
It's sharp.
Dios mio, travel cross. A liberal. Cool, I liberate pretty hard myself. I don't understand what's so well about that. Käy vielä läpi muka tyhmän, että mikä ultra.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's not the moderate kind.
I don't understand. What's so wild about
you heard. I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. I can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
Yeah.
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her. But only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
Laitetaan, että I forgive you.
I do hope so. I hope we're able to remain collegial despite it. Remember, we were partners, whether you like to admit it or not. There's blood on many hands, I assure you. When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Mennään vaihtoehdolla 1. Kysytään.
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake. Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my
Is it that
undoing.
you're a patriot?
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
Okei, kysytään sen tyttärestä.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
Okei. Kysytäänpäs. 58%. Katsotaan, what is... Hei, tuo kutonen. What is this? Spread your hands.
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
I meant, what is this place here?
Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveau. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall, a real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons got 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
Jaha.
Wonderful.
Tätäpä Cindykin jopa heittää settiänsä vai? What is that? Point to the Cindy skull.
The girl in the old lady rags?
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags.
Okay.
She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid.
Kaikki
there
maailman
is no
teilit
refuge from the supraculture.
Kautta historiaa. Okay, now explain the same thing, but to a child.
Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating.
Okay,
all right. What next?
Kokeillaan tuota 58%.
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality.
Entäs 3% vaan?
A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly. That's all. It's on the tip of your tongue. A doubt of sorts already in your head. But it's not fully formed yet. You have to wait and return to this later. Once the jamais vu thought is complete.
Jaa, jamais vuuta voidaan tarvita. Okay, that's over now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything?
Realitystä ei voi enää kysyä yhtikään mitään.
Reality? Glad to have been of assistance.
Valokuvaa mä en tule näyttää, koska se on rikostutkintaan liittyvä. Ja mä lupasin Kimille, että pidetään niin se kaikki tutkimus ja muu tämmönen info itellä. Jamais Derealization. Pitää varmaan avata uutta settiä tähän, että me saadaan toi työ alla. Jamai. Noin, nyt se on työ alla. Jesse's info on the lynching. Yötaitoja kyllä saisi kevyesti hankittua lisää, mutta tehdäänpä eka nyt tallennus. Kimille mitään.
Yes.
Nähtävästi ei. Onkos meidän täällä Ledgerissä mitä pitäisi täyttää?
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the boards, with the permeables drawer inside. Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. You don't exactly close them.
Okay. Miten se oli 02 aikoihin, että pitäisi olla kaikki tyyli jo nukkumassa tai poistumassa. Nähtävästi joitakin ihmisiä näkyy kuitenkin täällä kaduillakin. Totta kai nää sankarit täällä. Mikäs tuossa? Lämpää sitä katsomaan. Pääsen muutenkaan tutkimaan, kun on niin kaukana. Tuo on lukossa. Tää varmaan kauheasti enää mitä voidaan tehdä, koska alkaa olla jo niin myöhäinen. Ja ihmisetkin tosiaan nukkuu tässä pelissä eikä pääse paikkoihin ja mestoihin, kun paikat on kiinni. Vois vähän kattoo vielä ympärillä. Press button behind guard. There's no lock picking or door kicking this one. Okay. Tallennettaas peliin. Future belongs to the measure head. Mä oletan, että kun siinä oli yli 2-metrinen äijä, millä oli täynnä tatuointeja, niin mä oletan, että tää on varmaan se superrasisti vartija.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Laitetaan say nothing, size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, I'm Sandwich. You are not in danger. Because you are not a threat to me.
Oletan, että se on varmaan tämän pelin rasistinen ilmaisu meille. Without your chest, still say nothing.
What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
Merely standing up makes you sweat profusely. Your breathing is erratic. Your own heartbeat in your ears grows frantic, and you feel your blood pressure rise.
Alright.
Stop it! You are embarrassing yourself in front of this woman and your pedomorphic friend. This display of weakness may appeal to older women with a stronger maternal instinct, but it is a liability here on Battlefield Martinez.
Oh dear.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
I was like, what do you mean my body betrays my degeneracy?
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul.
Mikähän on Al-Ghul?
You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Smell your breath. Kim is really so bad. You're right, I'm alcoholic. I don't have a problem with alcohol, I just drink little on the weekends. Kysytään mikä se on.
Yes, Al-Ghul. Al-Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison. A parasitic fungus that has colonized your race. It is a trick the desert pygmies played on you for humiliating them and stripping them of their land.
You mean alcohol?
Correct, my small skull servant.
Okay. Kysytään, että Kimiltä, is it really so bad?
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
Okay. I'm a servant to alcohol, but I still need to enter the harbor. I don't have a problem with alcohol, I just drink a little on the weekends. Laittaa tuo.
Your mouth moves, but the one who speaks is Al-Ghul. You are but a vessel for the Ghul now. Very little of yourself remains. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here.
Selvä.
The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Show him the ham still got it.
Bite out. First, let me make this clear. I'm not a drunk. I'm a cop. Just have to drink every now and then. I think the ham sandwich race still has in them. First, let me make this clear. I'm not a drunk. I'm a cop. Otan tuo.
The ethanol fungus is deep within your nervous system, pulling the strings. You are merely its pupa now. I see no hope for you or your kind.
Okay. Actually, I think the ham sandwich race still has it in them. Kokeillaan tuota.
Willingly calling yourself a ham sandwich, how far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft.
Just.
You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Kroikos.
Totta kai tässä pelit ei voi käyttää vaan sitä raaka-ainetta todellisuudessa, näin ihan ymmärrettävää.
You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture.
Pitää asiasta A asiaan C ilman yhteyttäkään.
You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
The situation is serious. Your people have probably killed a man. I need to talk to your boss. You're right about all this, and now I just need you to let me go into the harbor. Push him out of the way. Laitetaan tuo, että yhdetä sitä liikkuu 20 senttiä.
It is my task to keep the degenerate drunks from entering the harbor.
Laitetaan tuo, että meidän pitää jutella sen pomolle.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al-Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
This is your chance. He's talking. Rip into him with a punch and catch him off guard.
Yeah.
No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive. Remember? Communicate.
Subscribe to his advanced race theory. Sitten physical instrument formable 13. Knock him out. Suggestion is against it -1. Kysytäänpä mukista. Käännettiin sitä roskiksesta randomista.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Put this into trash lately.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Se oli rasistinen muki.
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
Isn't Evert the union boss white?
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
Okay.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden.
Okay. Yeah, but you still serve him. How does that factor into your life?
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international capital. Something your race, naivistic communists, never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic.
My jam is mysterious fourth thing. Individuals is my jam. Communist is pretty cool. I'm no communist. Näin tavalla.
Of course you are, Revasholian man. The failure of communism to challenge the world order is the core of your race fate. All around you, the fruits of its defeat. Individualism, rock and roll music, sexually transmitted disease, above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music?
Okay. I have gotten it from the disco actually. True, I'm a rock and roll star and rebel. But the youth culture doesn't affect my thinking.
Of course it does. You are a degenerate individualist and a rock and roll rebel. A pawn of international finance, just like the rest of your ham-colored race. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race.
Niin paljon bullshit, tyhjää, turhaa. Älä... Pitäisikö mulla käydä kysymään? Okay, I'll ask who are the Seminoles.
The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericalasis and arrived here 4,000 years ago. Millennia before you. We are the future. That is all you need to know. I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Elysium are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
So you did come from the islands?
No. I have heard about it on the radio.
He would be appreciative if you did not further chase this line of inquiry in front of the women.
I was like that, so you're not really... It's just for radical. Pitäisikö vaan laittaa tätä cool?
Yes.
Okay. Mikä tactful in front of a woman? Se nousi vähän tuo kykyprosentti. Kim, what do you think about this? Kysytään tatuoinnista.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race. I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt.
True, that is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself.
Tässäkin mä voin valita, että you sure I'm not creating a superior to you, that you're right, that's perfection. My race does not stand a chance. Jos mä myötäilin sitä, niin pääsinkö mä helpommalla, tuli mieleen.
Correct.
Ainakaan ei vielä tullut prosenttia lisää. Sitä Kimiltä, mitä hän mieltä on.
I don't think anything about this. We are wasting our time having this conversation.
Your pedomorphic friend is right. You should leave here with your tail between your legs, contemplating race extinction. I am an immovable obstacle.
Subscribe to his advanced race theory tai knock him out. Pitäisikö kokeilla conceptualizationia?
Go ahead. Don't be shy. Just ask for race secrets.
I want to learn this race theory of yours. Try to smile pathetically.
Do not be naive. I know the answer to the great race enigma. Why would I share it with a deformed infant? You do not have the devotion for servitude.
Okay.
We still need to get into the harbor. There's an interview to conduct. There must be another way.
His gaze wanders over the Erling's roof to the yard. Okay. Tehdään tallennus. Alright, mutta tehdäänpä myös samalla klippiä tästäkin setistä, niin katsotaan sitten mitä tehdään.